Yeah, to move the old thing, the jig over, and probably low. There we are. Yeah, that's good. Better. A little. There's Jeff Cooper. Welcome. Welcome to the. Yeah. And so we'll jump right in, as we say here. We'll read this bio that Jeff was nice, professional enough to send us yesterday, I believe. And here we go. Jeff, you're a stand-up comedian writer from Portsmouth, Virginia. You started out as a Division I college baseball player at Radford University and began writing while in college. After college, you took an apprenticeship at Norfolk Naval Shipyard and worked there for 15 years as a nuclear engineer. And then you decide to leave that to pursue comedy full time, where you started 3 rooms in Hampton Roads area, and now you're traveled across the country performing stand-up comedy. That is awesome. So, are you from the Portsmouth area?
Yeah, I was born in Portsmouth.
Okay.
Lived there pretty much my whole life.
Nice area. And so that's just interesting. How did you get into like Division I baseball at Radford?
Baseball is like a big thing for my dad.
Uh-huh.
Coming up. So I was, that kid coming up and playing all the travel ball.
Mm-hmm.
And just, it's something I was good at, something I enjoyed doing.
Right.
Everything. And then Radford University offered me a scholarship when I was in high school.
Wow.
So I took that and played 4 years there. But the whole time, I was just thinking in my head, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep having to wake up at 4 a.m. to lift weights and do all this stuff. Like, it's just, comedy's kind of always been what drew me into anything.
So after the baseball, you went and apprenticed, as we were saying, at Norfolk Naval Shipyard as a nuclear engineer.
Yes, sir. So I did what they call from basically like mechanic to engineering program.
Right.
So I spent so not the apprentice school. The apprentice school was in Newport News.
Norfolk. Yeah, I know. that
Yeah,
place.
Norfolk and Newport News both have apprenticeships.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I just want.
I did my 4 years of my apprenticeship. Then I got into the nuclear program there.
Nice.
And from there, I'd gotten to a point like as a nuclear supervisor and everything to where just stuff stopped being but so challenging. And I just wanted to be able to fix the processes and stuff that I felt we had been doing wrong and everything like that. So I got into the engineering side of things to where I felt like I could actually help. And I loved doing the engineering, for the naval reactors and everything like that. Not to take anything away from Norfolk Naval or that program. It was great to me. It was amazing, but it just wasn't for me anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Personally, I was stationed at Naval Air Station.
Okay, so like down at Virginia Beach, like Oceana.
Norfolk. We were in the Norfolk one.
Okay.
NAS Norfolk. So I've seen that. It's amazing when you drive over certain bridges out there. Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel.
Oh, I know.
Humongous Navy ships and shipyards, and the bridge is humongous.
Right. You don't realize how big an aircraft carrier actually is. So you see one.
So did you make like stuff for the Navy, or was it private stuff?
No, it was for the Navy.
Right.
Yes, sir. So I was civil service.
Right. Oh, okay. Awesome. Tab, you have some family that were in the military.
Oh yeah. I used to live down in Virginia Beach. Dad had been stationed at Norfolk when I was born, but this is not about me. So I know about grew up in Tidewater in elementary school, and really familiar. I've spent some time at the Portsmouth Hospital, and
right.
pretty much anyone that has ties to that area has some sort of military ties.
Right.
It's all saturated down there.
Yeah.
Military.
Yep. Good times. And,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I already asked the question that so what got you into comedy? Was it during your stay at the shipyard that you started, or did you your interest in comedy was back when you were at Radford? Where did it start?
My interest in comedy was from when I was like 12 years old, and my dad. I remember we were on the road for a baseball tournament, and he showed me a Carlin special,
Right.
and like from then on, I think it was "It's Bad for You" special,
Mhm.
and from then on, I'd always just had like an itch to do it. But to answer your question, Radford was really where I started writing. I had a
right.
roommate that was very into comedy and everything, so we just would, write our bits, write jokes and everything, and then would go and perform them very like every now and then, like
Mhm.
once in a blue moon, essentially at any bar or anywhere that would have us out there.
Open mic
Right,
or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
But it wasn't even like open mics, it wasn't even like
Yeah.
that. It's just like anywhere with a microphone. You doing karaoke?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I will get up and
Sometimes-
I'll do comedy.
Sometimes that's a way to get in and be different. I've done that with playing a music. And can we also plug in a guitar? And
Right,
sing?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. No one's done that.
Exactly. You just got to ask.
Right. Yeah. So college, you were saying.
Oh yeah,
that.
just writing in college. So do you have like special books that you do you have to have a certain type of notebook to keep your secret inspirations in? Because I see comedians, wherever they are, at a coffee shop or going out to eat, they got their little nasty notebook that's
Mhm.
all well worn with scribbles all in it. Do you have like a special personal one?
Yes, of course. Like you said, I think most comics do. So I'll usually keep like 2 notebooks on me. Like one's for essentially all the just ideas, premises, just
Mhm.
jokes that are just still in the egg. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and then I'll have my book where I'll write all my set lists and write what I'm going to do that night. Just that's kind of my finished product book. So like I have 10s and 20s and 30s of all these notebooks just full of just scribblings of just ideas, which is fun though too, because sometimes you can go back to those and think like, well, I wasn't a good enough comedian to do that
Mm,
then, but I can do that now. So it's kind of fun to scroll
right.
through the old ones.
Yeah, I had another thought. As a musician, I do cover tunes. I cover other people's materials. Is that a thing in comedy? Is there like a? Okay, I would think it's kind of in my perception. It's like kind of taboo to do somebody else's jokes.
Big no in comedy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no covers in
Yeah,
cover
no.
jokes.
No,
It's all about originality.
Yeah.
right.
I
Right.
mean, I guess you could go something like this is kind of based off of so and so's thing. I thought of this.
Oh, absolutely. You can
But-
reference someone's
Or
joke.
channel somebody.
yeah.
Is there a comedian that you channel that inspires you? And
So many. Yeah. So like a big one for me was Doug Stanhope.
All right.
I've always loved his style of comedy, his brashness,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of his unapologeticness,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as guys like Tom Segura. Of
Right.
course, you have the Burrs, the Pryors, and all those
Mhm.
guys of the world,
Mhm.
and the Carlins.
Mm-hmm.
It's just yeah, you just think about it, like Bill Hicks, this, that, Mitch Hedberg.
Oh my
If
God,
if you can
Hedberg,
if you can
yeah.
just
one-liners.
sort of blend some of their styles like into something, it's like as soon as a comic gets really popular, like everyone kind of tries to sound like them,
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
so
To emulate them.
you have so many people that like try to keep Dave Attell's cadence,
Mm.
And-
Wow.
and it's just like, okay, that's fine. Like you should be inspired by people, but it should be in a way to where it just progresses you to do your own thing and
Mhm.
opens you up. And the thing about like whenever or try to follow a musician, it's like
Mhm.
the hardest thing in the world to do because I've
Okay.
never had anyone dance to my jokes.
Right.
So
Okay,
it's like
nice.
you guys are actually really having fun listening to this music. Now I'm going to bore you with a couple
I should feel
depressive
special.
minutes from my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should feel special. I have people that laugh at my songs.
Yeah.
laughs to laugh, man.
Yeah. So I was thinking up some inquiries here. I mean, what do you have like a theme, kind of a character, kind of mode that you go into, or a kind of, is it just you, or is there some sort of kind of theme? Like for me, my theme, which wasn't always successful, was being Jewish in Richmond, Virginia,
Mhm.
or being a kind of nerdy, or the Caucasian in
The only Caucasian
dark
at an
room.
urban.
Yeah, an urban place, and that's fun. Do you have like something like a main topic like that you
No,
go to?
it's funny. Like I wouldn't say I have a character, or a theme. Like I'm not up there like Larry the Cable Guy
Right. No.
or anything like that. It's just no offense, he's made a lot of money.
Yep.
Very funny
yep.
dude. But just I sometimes my act for that night can take on a theme
Mhm.
for sure. Like if I'm going through a breakup or something like that, of course,
Yeah.
like my material that night is going to be dominated by that. But I try not to be the woe is me comic all the time, or it's just, yeah, I have stories, but I like to be able to mix in punchy jokes as well and all that. So it's just, it kind of just depends on what's going on and the night. I like to think of myself as a comic that can adapt to the room, to the night, and all that.
That's good a good point for whatever you're doing in the arts or performing, adapting, reading the room. They call it that. Like maybe look who's around.
Absolutely.
And think in our case, have in mind, is that person gonna like old songs? They gonna want to hear new songs or country songs? Whereas you're looking around going, well, what did the other comedians do? Did it work for them in this room? Or
Absolutely,
who's in it?
100%.
Yeah.
And I've had comics when I was coming up teach me that.
Mm.
There's like, get to the club early,
Oh,
see
right.
who's arguing with their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
Ah.
Just kind of just read that, like make sure you look up a couple facts about the area.
Nice.
Because jokes about Richmond or jokes about Hampton Roads aren't going to work in Des Moines, Iowa.
Right, definitely.
So
Do
you have to be
research,
able to like really read that room and know that your materials, some of the jokes you have aren't going to work there. Right. It's funny, like even from Hampton Roads to Richmond,
Yeah.
I have jokes that I'll do in Hampton Roads that won't work in Richmond, and vice versa.
Mhm.
And
Or even different clubs.
yeah, it's just
Things will work differently. Yeah.
the political environment, whatever it may be, just people's sensitivities to certain things.
Yeah.
Like you just have to know where you're at.
Right.
Do you have any magic bullets for hecklers? Have you developed a mechanism for maybe not controlling, but just owning them?
Yeah, I mean, so really, in my opinion, like to owning a heckler is you have to make them realize how hard this is,
Right.
and make them kind of almost perform what they were trying to perform now that all
Right.
eyes are on them.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just, I've been doing this a while, and I have the confidence that if you try to get on a one-on-one with me with words and you're not a comedian, I'm probably going to win this.
Right.
So it's one of those things, everyone's there to have a good time, but sometimes people
Yeah.
get a little too drunk, a little too whatever.
Yeah.
And then, maybe they're trying to impress someone, or maybe you said something that actually offended them. And those are kind of like my favorite ones. It's just, let's talk. What did I
Right.
say?
Right.
It's like you realize this was a joke.
Well, we are here for comedy, but
Rest of the audience this time.
Right. And does that doesn't happen too often? does
No,
it?
it doesn't happen a terrible amount.
but if you read the room,
Right.
Right. Yeah,
you can avoid a lot
exactly.
of
You can
things.
avert a lot of that. Yeah.
I saw one time, was it a Benny and Brooklyn show? I think it was at was like an unnamed room at the old mall in like whatever. If you remember, before they had the boutiquerie thing, they had a thing
Okay.
way out in whatever
He's got me
place.
lost, too.
And what happened? So there was a guy, I can't remember the name of the comedian. He got up to do his thing, and there was this guy sitting in front, and it appeared that his goal was to heckle a comedian. because he just went way after him. I was telling Watt, remember he wasn't there, and it's like, what was the point of that other than maybe he was a retired or frustrated comedian, or he knew him, but I've never seen that go far. They were cursing at each other, was saying, get the blank off the stage, you're not funny, he's saying, you shut up, get him out of here. So
I was going to assume Benny handled it. Benny's a
did,
very funny comedian.
Yeah, Benny did. I'm not sure what he kind of let it run because the audience was into it for a while.
Yeah, it's
because
fun
the
for a
guy
while.
was good at the heckling. He was
Yeah.
just like, because the guy said, "How about you tell a joke?" He said, "Your mama's a joke" or something, trash talking him back, and
Very witty
and,
comebacks like that.
yeah. Anyhow, where were we? So you've started rooms in Newport News. You do those, or you have those?
So
still,
I started 2 in Portsmouth, Virginia,
Uh-huh.
and longboards on Sunday nights, and then Old Town Public House on Wednesday nights, and
Mhm.
then now working on starting a 3rd room again. Now is just, to me, that's the biggest thing, and that's what we're short in this, whether it be Richmond or Hampton Roads,
Mhm.
as far as the comedy scene is going, is places to be able to do time.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to get better is stage time.
Right.
No doubt about that. There's no secret to it, anything like that. Just you have to keep getting up.
Yeah.
Just like any other profession, any
Absolutely,
other skill
yeah.
set,
That
it's
whole
a time and
that
saddle.
whole 10,000 hour thing.
Absolutely. Dude, I preach that 10,000 hour thing because I've got the guitar down, but I don't have 10,000 hours for another skill.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So I accidentally thought that it would be cool if I went out and tried comedy.
I remember
don't you?
that.
Yeah. And it's easy for me to read a room as a musician, but it's not the same thing when you have, on a 3x5 index card prompts for these set of jokes and stories
Uh-huh.
that you want to go through. And when you get crickets off the first attempt and then you go to the second attempt, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes is the longest
Yeah. Yeah.
longest stretch of time dilation that I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Is this?
I felt like a 2-year-old,
Yeah.
I was about to wet my pants and I wanted my mommy.
Was this the time you went to that?
At the
place?
Current.
Oh, this isn't that time. There's another time we went to Carry 100. We were practicing our music duo.
Oh yeah.
And way down there. I did all right. You got up and you told a long story joke, and it was good, but
I lost everybody.
Well, they laughed at the end. Oh, I get it. That was pretty good.
See, they
So
just weren't
you-
patient enough, man. They just weren't patient enough.
Yeah, well, how much attention are they gonna hold? How much time do you have
Mhm.
to
yeah.
keep them?
Yeah.
It's-
So they say, like, especially when you're doing an open mic, when you have 5 minutes, something like that, you got to get their attention quick.
Yep.
And end
Mhm.
on something great. End on something
Yeah.
great. Like
Yep.
that filler in the middle, that can be like where you're working on stuff, but
Mhm.
it's really tough once you lose their attention, especially at some sort of bar or something like that. You have
Mhm.
bottles clinking,
Right.
people ordering food, drinks. and
Oh, it's like a
everything.
middle school classroom.
Right. And you're
Yeah.
just trying to get their attention, and once you've lost it, it's hard to get it back.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Just like a middle school classroom.
Absolutely. I performed at a maximum security prison
Oh wow.
recently at the beginning of the month.
Mhm.
So that was fun. That was different than a middle school classroom.
Whole different set. Oh yeah. My experience with teaching middle school, I don't think is much different from prison. I'm sorry, you cannot. You can't convince me of that. Did you have all these things you were talking about? Little tips to reading. You start out with saying you grab their attention, then you start out with the, and then end up with a. Anyway, did you have a mentor? How hard was it to find a mentor that was willing to spend the time to share with you? Did you find somebody that had what you wanted and approach them?
Yes,
How'd
I
that-
actually got really lucky with that. So I was on a plane going to Orlando.
Mhm.
This is probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I was going to help out my friends who were in a band. I was going to go check out their shows. Haven't seen them in a while and everything like that. So I'm on a flight. I look next to me, and it's a comedian guy Mark Norman, who's really
Oh,
blown up.
Mark Norman. Yeah.
Recently and stuff like that. So he's got his big joke book. He's working on stuff. I'm working on writing my little dumb jokes. And he like kind of glanced over. He's like, "You got anything good?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Nah, not really. How about you?" And so from that point on, like him and I clicked. I went to his show that night. And he's kind of been my mentor, definitely like at that level.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he'll always go through my stuff, read it, help me out. Just advice, really. He doesn't change my, but it's just a second set of eyes. But locally, of course, too, there's so many people like Nick Dees, Ant
Oh, yeah.
Perez,
Yeah.
you know, like Taylor Edwards.
Mhm.
We got a really good scene. Addison Hall. We got a really good
Yeah.
scene for guys that
Supportive.
yeah, exactly, help each other out. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Not so much competitive. I mean, there is some competition. I'm
Of course, yeah.
sure.
There's always competition,
Yeah.
but
Right.
we've got a really good scene about just kind of like putting your wing around the new guy and making sure
Mm.
the people that keep showing up the mics, you help them out. You know, because you have so many
Right.
people that show up that first time, don't do well,
Yeah.
and never come back, and that's sad because
Yeah.
none of us did well the first time.
So you do
Yeah.
that kind of goodwill, and rising tide will float all the
Yeah,
boats.
you pay it forward.
just-
You know, yeah.
So is this like as a scene? I've seen Nick Dees. He was at something. I've been at a few things he was at, and now he's. But is the scene more or less like kind of expanded to Charlottesville and the beach and Northern Virginia? Is that the kind of thing, or?
I think so. So I think
Yeah.
Northern Virginia still kind of has their own scene. I was
Right.
in Alexandria performing last weekend,
Mhm.
and they still really do have their own comics. We haven't really made it quite up there yet, but especially with the Richmond guys, guys like Monty Childs and
Right.
stuff, they've
Yeah.
been moving west and doing a bunch of Charlottesville shows. Pat
Mhm.
Logan, he's a newer comic, but he's been starting up a bunch of stuff in the Fredericksburg area and around here and all that. But no, I mean, I definitely think comedy in Virginia is headed in the right direction.
Right.
And kind of our whole thing was we didn't want people to have to move anymore.
Right.
You know, we don't want to have people to have people to move to New York, Austin, LA.
Yeah.
But it takes these rooms being willing to grow with us and
Mhm.
really have an interest in growing the scene as well. Like we can't do it all on our own.
Right.
It's just
Yeah, you have to be supported by the venue
Mm.
and
and the people
the
come out,
that
see
come
comedy.
out. Yeah,
you know?
the people. I helped. Well, Benny had a show at the place I was helping out at, and that was the thing. It would be all the comedians would come in. They'd be supporting each other, buying food and all that. But it was harder to get an audience of non-comedians to come in at that place. So what you wind up getting, and I don't know if this is normal, it happens with sometimes music where you're too loud, but the crowd, the regulars or people that randomly come in, they don't expect a comedy show and they aren't prepared for hearing bad words or dirty stuff. Even like, it's just my observation that it'd be better to promote these things more and explain what they are. Some people are easily offended. I saw Shane Smith is a guy that was on
Richmond guy,
Comedy
right?
Central.
Yeah.
No, Shane. He's from out west. He was on Comedy Central and on a lot of things like Netflix. He had a special. He came to Richmond to the darn it, that place that's closing soon. The Sandman.
Yeah.
So I got free tickets through a little social group. I took my friend who was sometime comedian like myself, and these other people, they didn't seem to know what to expect. They were there, and so the point of all this is not to bash anyone, but I just feel like the audience needs to know what they're getting into, and sometimes a host will do that. They'll go early and go, this is going to be a comedy show. We're just joking. We don't want to offend anyone. It's all jokes for good humor. If you don't like it, you can come back later and all that. Because I've seen, how do they get that? Well, you're a host essentially.
Oh yeah,
You
we still
prepare
fight.
the
We still
club.
fight the same thing for
Right.
sure. But one good thing about my rooms is there's a separate room to where we do
good.
comedy.
Yeah.
So if you're going into that room, you're going in there just for
Right.
comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
There's still a place outside in the main bar where you can watch the game if you want, order drinks,
Right.
order dinner, have dinner with your family. You don't have to hear any of,
Yeah.
what the comics are saying.
Right.
So,
that's a good point.
I
Yeah.
think that when you're going into rooms and like looking to open rooms, that's the best advice I can give is
right.
make sure that the comedy is segregated from the rest of it as much as you can.
Right.
So like my friend Taylor hosts a room every Monday at Pinboys. It's a bowling alley. You'd think it'd be the worst
Uh-huh.
place ever to do comedy,
Right.
right? But no, it's in a separate room. Everything's shut.
Oh,
You don't hear
nice.
bowling balls roll or anything like that. Like the rooms are out there. You just gotta be willing to hunt them down and beg people to let you try your jokes.
Mm-hmm. Isn't really the hard. Yeah, I'd say the harder part is one, if you're looking to be a host, finding the rooms, and then second, getting your jokes across. It's luckily in Richmond, it's not that hard, just like at our music open mics. You get in the same night, or you sign up on a list in person, and you can usually go on. But obviously, from my experience, of course, the hard part is getting people to laugh or making them laugh, wanting to laugh at your thing for your 5 or 6 minutes, and then not taking it personally if they don't.
Yeah, but that's on the comedian.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The comedian, that's who I'm referring to myself in the figurative term of comedian, because I've done it a few times. And I go back and forth, and I'm like, well, this is too hard. Well, I have some jokes now, things I'm thinking about. I'll go back. But anywho, what are we going to discuss?
Well,
Where?
And comedians. I mean, I do open mics. I'm a musician, so my news feed is all filled with musicians and open
Right.
mics and where to go and what to do. But I don't get any other outside advertisement of where the comedy places are. There was a place out in Short Pump. What do you remember what that place is called, or is it still there?
Funny Bone?
Yeah, Funny Bone. And I had gotten onto their under their list when they needed audience, to fill it up. I would get notifications from them, but I don't really know where these comedy rooms are in Richmond.
There's a lot now. So I know every Wednesday, Jack Parker, and then they run Isley's and Monty Giles and
Isley's at Isley Brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
and Tyler and Monty Giles. They run Basic City, which is an open mic, and it's a really fun open mic. I suggest any comic to do it. So basically what they do is you'll go on, do your set. There's Monty, Tyler, and then another comedian behind you, and they'll stop you mid set and start messing with you and everything like that. And then you just got to go back and come back at them. You know what I mean? So it's like having professional hecklers behind you.
Right.
But it's
full contact comedy.
Exactly. But it's so much fun. And it's just some people take it the wrong way. Like it's just up there for you to get roasted. It's like, no, I mean, they're up there too.
Dude,
Like,
there's opportunity for improv
you
up
just gotta
there.
So
Go-
what night
go
is
back
that
at 'em.
one?
Yeah.
I've been to that.
it's Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Also, so the other one is Isley Wednesday, and Basic City is Wednesday.
Yep. So we usually hit both mics when we come up here.
Right.
And of course Benny Blanco's rooms on Mondays, I believe.
And Wednesday. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
other than that, it's just as far as the Richmond rooms are concerned, I know that comic Sam Tamini just opened one tonight. I forget what it's called.
Really?
Yeah, it's the place begins with an R. I forget the actual name of the place.
Revelry?
Yep.
Oh, neat.
Oh, Revelade in Carytown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been in that place yet. That looks very interesting. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so I know he's running his first mic there tonight. He's hilarious.
Yeah, and if you are out there listening, we have Jake
Cooper.
Nope, this
No,
is
it's not Jake.
Jeff
Jeff
Cooper, but there's
Cooper.
a guy that does it Monday nights. Isn't that at Home Sweet Home.
Oh yeah, Home Sweet Home still has some.
I am so bad with name. I can picture his face. I know. Well, anyway, that's a fun one. I'll look it up real quick because we like to promote people and help them out, and maybe they'll want to come in here. We have several comedians coming up from around here, and
Who all do
some-
you have coming up? You know.
I do know that part, and I may have spoken too soon to
No, it's
say
all
they're
right.
comedians, but we had Kim Johnson, spoken word poet, comedians. Yeah. Oh, James Dowdy is a comedian, I believe. He's on August 24th. But we're looking for more of that. We have these things booked with mostly musicians. And just ask another question there.
I
I'm
was
gonna
just-
look
I
up
w-
this thing
I was
right
looking for
here.
an opening there, Roger.
Yep, please.
So,
Next thing I have really scheduled is July 16th. We're doing a roast battle at Kazi's
at
Comedy
where?
Club. Kazi's Comedy Club in Newport News.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll pick up more stuff in between then. It's just I'm supposed to really leave August 5th to go on a long one.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of
Do
just
you have a manager for that, or is that something?
actually
you
I just
book
hired
yourself,
I
or-
just hired representation yesterday. It's funny. Yeah, I got signed with Jeff Kaiser. And hopefully that just makes things easier from the aspect of having to book yourself all the time. And
Heck yeah, pay somebody that does it all the time. You know, they
Right.
know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That you need to go
Okay.
to the professionals.
I remember the name. It's Home Sweet Home Comedy, and it is first and third and fifth Tuesdays. Carrie's Home Sweet Home, and Jake McFadden is the host.
Yeah,
Jacob
yeah.
McFadden. So my old man memory came back there for a minute. Been out there. That's a fun one. And they used to have, I think they still have bottoms up pizza some nights. And there's a lot of things around from what I see, and it's what they call showcases.
yeah.
So they're not
Yeah,
Open
showcases
mic.
and an open mic. Yeah.
right. It's a closed or invite only thingamabob.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big step for
Yeah.
getting in there, I guess.
So that's
Right.
like the next step when you're a
Right.
comedian is, when you're doing an open mic, you can still have your notebook up there and say, okay, what else do I want to talk about? What else do I want to talk about?
Right,
Typically on a
right.
showcase, your act is what it's going to be. Like your 5 minutes, your 8 minutes, your 10 minutes, however long it may be, is you're going up there with just you're not riffing really.
Yeah. You have a memorized, planned out thing.
Yeah, because typically with the showcase, people are paying to see the show.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
So
So have you ever done work with any comedy groups, troops, or improv?
I haven't. No, and I have a lot of friends that are involved in that and really into that. It's just never really been, I guess, my thing or my path.
Mhm.
It's not like I'm opposed to it or anything like that. It's
Right.
just
It's a different skill. It's a different part of
is.
skills.
It's very
part of the
different.
brain.
very different. And
Yeah.
like one part about one of the beautiful and then scariest parts about being a stand-up is you're there by yourself.
Right.
So I have no one to blame but me.
Right.
For the most part, if things go wrong, and that's kind of I don't know, it's a cool feeling to have, but then
Mhm.
also there are times when you're up there like, oh man, I wish someone could save me right now,
Yeah, right.
but
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
we
it's
always
different.
hear about like the improv groups and
Yeah.
everything back home. It's just like they'll kind of get out and start doing stand up a little bit and everything like that. See kind of how cool the stand up world is, and then get welcome home to improv with open arms. It's like, okay,
Mm,
we brought you back. You're
Yeah.
safe now. You're safe.
yeah. They have improv. Where is it? Okay. Comedy Sports has it. And
Norfolk is Push Comedy Theater.
Push Comedy Theater. Cool.
Yeah, I've always fantasized about having a party where it would be like, whose line is it anyway? Just all improv
Right.
stuff, thrown out,
Yeah.
and but most people are, would avoid that the
Mhm.
pressure
Yeah.
of potentially looking stupid in front of people, or
Right.
I would think that it wouldn't. So although I would love to do that, I think it would be great fun. I just don't see it being. I would have to be selective about
Right.
who I chose.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Get all
I
your,
say you do it though. It sounds like fun.
Yeah. Can be in private at your private place, or try it out there. I mean, it is a different thing. You're thinking on your feet. I went, from what I hear, and spur of the moment, but a lot of it later is planned. Like when these, forgot what show. It was a big show. It was probably on Fox or some other channel, and it was like the comedy competition something. It had solo
Last Man
comedians.
Standing.
No, it was way after, more recent. It was like they had solo comedians, and then they had improv troops that had like planned skits,
Hmm.
and the winner got something. But
That's very interesting, Roger.
yeah, very interesting.
I'm so
yeah.
glad you shared that.
It's neat. I'm
I
just
feel enlightened.
rambling around. Yep, that's
Yes.
what I'm getting to. But I'm just saying that is an opportunity in Richmond. There's that. There's going to be the Coalition Theater, I believe it's called. Whole different thing. So let's see. If you were a musician, we'd go, can you play us something? So do you have any on color, okay, like bits you can do?
Oh,
On color might be the tough part of it. I typically don't work, but so clean. I've been kind of trying to work on that though.
Okay.
So it's just Father's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
A pretty trash holiday. Yeah, so just Father's Day. It's like you could be father of the year, go to every T-ball game, everything like that. The best thing you can get out of it's a leaf blower,
oh my God, you got a leaf blower?
right? And
Oh, you lucky.
you could be a terrible dad, everything like that. The worst thing you can get is a summons,
Oh,
failed
Are you-
child support payments.
yeah. Are you a dad?
I am not.
Okay.
That you know of.
Yeah.
That you
And then I would
know.
just end that with my dad's dead, so I don't got to worry about it. But,
Ah,
then it's like Mother's Day. It's like that. I don't know what you typically get your mom. What do you usually get your mom?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Text.
text. I usually go with flowers,
Yeah.
and so like my mom would always think like, oh, it's something else I gotta keep alive.
Right.
yeah.
Just more work for
yeah.
me. Mm,
Sort of that issue with gifting. You don't know
yeah.
what you're gonna get. You have to try to equal their gift the next time.
Well, let's be real. Every parent doesn't deserve a day either.
Oh,
This is true. That's
Yeah.
why my mom gets a
Deserve it.
text.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember her.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So
Someone's thing is going off outside.
it's probably mine again.
Nope.
Who knows?
Okay. What we got?
So have you thought about doing comedy again?
I think about it every week. Like
Yeah.
I keep thinking or saying I'm gonna go Wednesday or Monday. I like Benny's things more. It's safer for me. But they're way out there and late at night.
Yeah, they are late. Yeah.
But most comedy is. It's like 9 or 10 to 11 or midnight, which is cool. But I do writing and little things at home and write humorous songs now. So
Like a Stephen Lynch, Bo Burnham.
yes. Sometimes they're funny, not on purpose. I think it's serious and
Yeah.
because of my voice or the thing I'm talking about.
No, I read that as a
I
comedy.
think-
Yeah. Everyone
Yeah.
gets the joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time for me, it's your delivery.
The
That's
delivery,
yeah.
yes. The voice for
I'm good with
radio,
that.
face for radio.
Well, I mean, that's what comedy is. Is delivery. Like,
Yeah, delivery. Well,
it's timing and delivery.
Yeah.
my lawyer tells me that timing is everything. He has really tried to convince me of that, and I believe him now. It's rang true many times.
You lost half your stuff enough times.
You know, getting out. Yeah, you got to have an exit plan.
Yeah.
All right, clock's ticking. So no kids,
No kids.
but are got any pets?
Yeah, I have 2 dogs. Got a pit bull that I rescued out of a dumpster when he was like 2 days old. His name's Yoda, and then a boxer named Bronson.
Cool. Do they ever enter your routine any?
Nah, they haven't yet. I need to work on some stuff about it,
Everybody
especially,
loves dogs,
especially
man.
Yoda.
They do
Yeah.
love the dogs. Yeah.
Yoda,
Love them dogs.
he's a trip, man. Like, yeah, not much there, but he makes me happy.
So would you say it's like your delivery and your take on it? Because I've heard, and everyone knows this, just like in any entertainment thing, something's been done by someone else.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you can expound on that, I guess. Yeah. How does
So
that
I
work?
really, the scary part about that is like when a joke comes to you too easy,
Uh-huh.
right?
Oh,
Like when
right.
something just like pops in your head, and you're
Right.
like, "There's no way, no one's ever done this before,"
Right.
you know. And then you just start calling around and asking your friends and stuff, like, "Have you heard this before?" And then when you get like the go ahead for something like that, it's insane. You're like, "Wow, that one just seemed too easy." But in regards to, I try to not watch, but
Yeah.
so much comedy
Right.
because I don't want to get influenced,
Right. Right.
whether or not you know it or not. Just, you know,
Yeah.
even if it's in your subconscious,
Uh-huh.
because that's the, like I said, that's the worst thing to me is stealing
Mhm.
jokes. And
Yeah.
you don't realize like the pride people have when they
Mhm.
when they write a bit that works, when you
Yeah.
finally get it down and
Yeah.
everything, like how much time and everything
Yeah.
you put into it, and then for someone to just go and take it and just go on stage with it, that's unforgivable to me. But it's just when
I think.
you're developing, I guess, ideas. So with my delivery and stuff process, like I'm just me up there. I
Mhm.
try to just be me,
Right.
and you know, it's which can be worse when you do bad, when you bomb. You're like, because
Yeah.
they definitely hate me, you know. Like, but other than that, it's just you can find stuff that you know is a broad, relatable topic.
Mhm.
Like, my dad died of cancer, so I'll do jokes about cancer. It's a broad topic. It's affected everyone,
Mhm.
right? You know, it's just then I can take my own little parts of it, my own little personal experiences, and put it in there.
Mhm.
And I don't go in writing. I don't go into like writing something thinking I'm going to write a joke about the submarine that disappeared today or the other day, right? Like it's just something where if a joke kind of pops in my head about it,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
I'll write. But I write every day, but I don't sit down with a structure, I guess, every day.
Right. Yeah.
So I got a question. What makes something funny?
If it's funny to me, it's funny to me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when it's funny and you try to relate to make it relatable to other people so
Exactly.
that they'll feel the same thing.
Yeah, it's like you have the Louis C.K. and all them of the world say, you know, what I mean, it's a comic's job to find the line and cross it.
Right.
Right.
You know, so like I'm supposed to be able
That's
to
how
say,
you find out where it is, by crossing
yeah,
it.
I'm supposed to be able to say whatever y'all are thinking, but then again, like the darker and your material is and stuff like that, better be funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like certain topics you make a joke about, they better be
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
That's otherwise it will be an insult.
Yeah,
It will-
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, there are things like, do you have observations you get from maybe watching people or TV or the media, and then you go, that could be a
Oh yeah,
could be
of
a
course. Yeah. I try to stay topical.
Right.
Of course, like to me, there's no more brilliant people at that than Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park. Like they write a show with 6 days left. You know, shows that take most animators months and months and months to do, but it, you know, like the ability to stay topical,
Mhm.
I think is
Yeah.
important, very important.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you can't just go up there with like your old stories
Oh yeah.
night
no.
in, night out, you know,
Yeah.
and news stories. And I mean, the world can be like your best co-writer
Right.
if you let it. Like there's
Oh my God, news channels give you plenty of fodder. I mean, they
Absolutely.
just toss stuff out there
they
all
just
day
dump material.
long.
They just dump material if you're looking for it.
Holy
you know?
crap. Yeah. It's weeding through all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
and probably not listening to the late night comedy news because
Ooh.
they're already taking
God,
it.
this one has.
Yeah,
two
exactly.
lines.
Yeah, because then you're
There's
gonna
a joke.
be like, wow, there's no better punchline than
Yeah.
that one, But I don't know. It's just being able to look at things objectively and just
Right.
being able to take like
So
that's
you would probably say if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you change
Right.
it or switch it
Exactly.
up in the moment or later. Because I don't know, some comedian I knew for years thought it was the hilarious, most funny thing to make jokes about the Charmin bears using toilet paper. That was this person's humor. And then
Mhm.
he, guess it was me, obviously. That was my bit. I thought it was awesome because my
I was
friends
about to say it's a good premise.
laughed.
I kind of like the bit.
But then I realized I'd been running that either as a humor at open mics or in Facebook because the Facebook thing came up. It was like 15 years since that came up, and it's been a long running commercial. So most people go, "So what? I've seen the picture. I've seen the cartoon bears. What about it? They're there. What can you do?"
Right.
But so for me, it is when I'm doing it, just going out and maybe asking a few people before, not just one person who may laugh at everything or be offended or not laugh at something, and getting a little general idea. Is this idea funny? And they'll give you an idea. You can do it this way, maybe. Don't do that.
1,000% though, man. Yeah, when
Yeah.
you go out there with a new joke or a new premise or something like that, when when it's not going to work, right? Like you can do it 2 or 3 times and you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
there really is nothing there.
Right.
But to me, like if I wrote it down,
Mhm.
at some point there was something funny in there to me.
Right.
And now it's my job to reword it
Yeah.
and take it in a different direction if need be.
Right. So what do you say you're doing? We'll use that bear thing, for instance.
Mhm.
Would you say maybe warm up the audience and get them engaged and go, who knows about the bear toilet paper bears? Does that help you out kind of to have crowd
Like
work?
feedback like that. Like getting them
introduce, "I
involved?
heard that," or they'll be like, "Is anyone married? Who's married? How long have you been married? Here's my comment about marriage." So maybe that helps.
It would be like, so who in here's married?
Right.
What kind of toilet paper do you use?
Right. There you go.
And then that
Which
can
way
like
does the
lead you.
roll
That can
lead
lead
you?
you
Yeah.
into your Charmin bit, right?
Which way do you have the roll pointed or facing in or out? And then-
Like
Can I see a show of hands who uses toilet paper?
Well,
Right.
what you could say it too. It's like if they don't just say Charmin, you could be like, well, that's an unhappy marriage.
Right.
Like
Use extra soft or extra
Right.
strong or the combined one. Anyway.
But it's just
yeah.
when you have a topic like that broad, like Charmin toilet paper, like you can, there's so many different directions you can take that
Yeah.
in. It's just
Yep.
right.
Papering someone's house. Is Charmin the best brand for growing? Will it stick in the trees because it's extra absorbent?
It's like, yeah, I mean, I grew up with a rich family, like quote unquote, like
Right.
we use Charmin to TP houses.
Nice.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like, you were
Or
getting
the
four
opposite,
ply
yeah,
if it
yeah.
were from us.
The single ply
I was using
7-Eleven brand.
7-Eleven, yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we're coming to a close of our time here. We've had a great time with Jeff and Tab here, and it's like to say Ron in the other room and Rain's over there, all hanging out. Hopefully you can tune in or come out and be part of our journey here where we like to be useful and divert people, help them divert from the life that kind of stinks right now in the media and the news and the environment. We want to help with those things, but we're saying let's get together and have a good time while we do that, not focus on the trigger polarizing issues because there's more to life than that. And we're at the Work FM. And Jeff, what do you got coming up that you want to mention to people if you haven't already?
Like I said, so July 16th, Kazi's. It's going to be a roast battle. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of local comedians and everything like that. Starting August 5th, it's something I can't quite announce yet, but it's going to be a fun tour through December.
Wow,
some fun
nice.
comedians. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Other than that, thank you guys so much for the for your time and all that. I've really enjoyed my time here. Comics,
Yeah.
musicians, everything. Make sure you do this show.
Yeah,
That's
you
great.
heard it.
And
Contact us on Facebook, and we have the group currently called Roger and Tab's comedy show. I mean, interview show, but we're workshopping different names. So, but that's where we're at. You can join that group, and
We're early in the process.
Yes. Yeah, we need a new
We'll get
picture,
better.
but we've got
they're doing great.
almost 500 followers on that. So that's where our big news comes in, and the Work FM, where you can tune in now when it's live or later anytime. And then you can share that. If you're out there watching or listening, you can share your show or someone else's show. Keep it growing, go viral. And I guess
Support local.
Yeah, support local
Thanks, guys.
radio. We're glad to have you all. Thanks, Jeff. And we're signing off here.
Yeah, we're still new at this. We're trying.
Oh, dude, this is fun.
It is fun. I get